Welcome to Cascadia Hockey. Get Donnie's puker voice going. Welcome to Cascadia Hockey, brought to you by Buried Puck Threads. My name is Corey Gaston. We are in the midst of the beginning of the WHL season. We've got a lot to talk about today. With me, as always, to my right, founder, president, CEO, misanthrope,
yes,
Aaron Piper.
How's everyone doing today?
Also with us, off of his Twitch stream,
Briefly,
just for a moment.
with no video game apparatus in front of him at this exact time.
Please, I will turn on Pokemon.
So will I. Our goaltender, our Zamboni driver, Mr. Kyle Hoots.
and also let me say,
Hey,
yo, pick up the phone.
Dude, when they did that on Letterkenny,
that was good.
Yeah. Oh yes, that was awesome.
I feel like that was a blooper reel that just made it in.
well, it was the campaign video, wasn't it? Against what's his name?
Yep. Let me just say, you had an awesome call out with that Kelly Buckburger thing.
Yeah.
With
Thank
Letterkenny.
you.
The other day, I'm sitting at my computer and I'm like, all right, I gotta look. So I pull up Hulu, I go and I'm scrubbing through. I was like, okay, there's the episode. I'm scrubbing through. My wife, we have the same office. She looks over, she's like, what the hell are you watching Letterkenny for? I'm like, babe, it's research for the show. So just leave me alone. So I scrub through and he goes, it's what's her name? Gail goes, I got another one. It's from the Buckburgers. His name's Kelly.
And then Daryl says,
Daryl goes, Stud's name's Kelly Buckburger. She's like, yeah. He's like, oh. And then Gail goes, and somebody asked the question, do you think it's a good thing? And then Gail goes, I tell you what, if it doesn't work out with Kelly Buckburger, you've about reached the bottom of the barrel. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's a good thing, man.
what? How do we? Well, I kind of want to use that as a clip, like whenever we talk about this season.
For real. We should just kind of, Letterkenny will ask for forgiveness instead of permission. So.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh man, that was a really good call out though.
Thank you. It just stuck, and I was like, go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
No. I was just something had crossed my mind though. You guys were talking about horror movies a little bit before we started.
Yeah.
Here's a horror movie I want to talk about. Gritty? What in the hell?
Oh, dude, that's not a horror movie. that's a living nightmare
fire
right there.
Yeah. No. So here's the thing. When they first unveiled it,
Good.
and I saw a picture of Philadelphia's new mascot, or I guess you'd call it a mascot. That's what they're labeling it as, but I'm pretty sure it's like depths of hell kind
An
of.
abomination.
7 feet
At
tall.
first, I was a little put off.
Yeah.
After the memes and the Twitter responses that Gritty has made,
Oh yeah.
I am all in. I love it. I love this mascot.
I do too. And the way the Flyers marketing department has handled it has been awesome. Like the Pittsburgh
so
Penguins, after they released, the Penguins came out and had a Twitter that just said "LOL, okay." And so Gritty's Twitter responds back, "Sleep with one eye open tonight, bird." I was like, yes.
Yes,
that's
the
fantastic.
post that I put in my hockey channel in my.
Oh, and by the way, they did start that GoFundMe page to have him euthanized. There is a GoFundMe page to have him euthanized. The goal was $1,000. Obviously, if they reach it, the money goes to the Ed Snyder Foundation.
Right.
But it happened. It really happened.
That is funny.
Yeah.
I just like the all the memes that have followed. Like there's the
been
stock
great.
pictures of kids looking sad, and then there's Gritty in the background. Yeah. Have you seen this story?
That makes me like it a lot more.
The one with the Montreal Canadiens mascot, this is your brain, and then Gritty, this is your brain on drugs.
Yes.
That was awesome.
So looking at it, I'm not gonna lie. I actually have that one saved on my computer.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah.
That's a wallpaper on my
You
computer.
saved that. I saw you.
Yeah.
You posted that the other day.
So, here's my thing: is when my initial look at it. First off, I felt bad for you.
Oh God. I felt bad for me.
Oh, Aaron, you poor bastard.
You guys haven't had a mascot for how many years, and this is what you come out with.
Right.
You know.
And here's my beef with it. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, and people can disagree with me all they want, and that's fine. I feel like they're trying to capture, and I'm going to use air quotes.
Yeah.
The fun.
Yeah.
Of the Phillies mascot.
The fanatic.
Yeah. So
Big hips.
Yeah.
That's what I got from it.
Yeah.
So it really feels like they were trying to Like, oh, well, we've got that guy and he's green. Let's have this guy and he's orange.
Yeah.
You know, it'll fit the Flyers colors, blah, blah, blah. That's where I came. I was like, fuck you, Philadelphia.
Like it was a ripoff sort of thing. Yeah.
I was like, you're just trying to, and I've kind of become more okay with it, I guess, in realizing that may not have been the impetus, but that was very much the initial thought process that I had.
I'm sure whoever designed the Fanatics costume probably had a hand in designing that costume as well. In that aspect, I kind of like it because of brand awareness, I guess.
So that's what I'm saying.
Keep it as a Philly
I've
thing.
Kind of
Yeah.
I've kind of come to accepting that, but my initial knee jerk was very much like, oh, come on, dude. You're just, it felt derivative.
Sure.
That was my take on it.
So the first 24 hours, I hated it, to be honest. As a Flyers fan, I just put my head down because I actually got the notification on my phone. Philadelphia Flyers is going live now. I'm like, oh, cool. What are they going to talk about? And then he comes out and he wiggles his hips and rolls his eyes. And I'm like, this has to be a joke. Is this April?
That turn that he did and his eyes were just...
So, and then my wife looked at me. She's like, are you serious? And I'm like, don't ask me. I had nothing to do with this.
It's your fault.
I know, for real. Yeah, no, they called me and I gave them.
What have you done, Aaron?
I gave them the green light on it. But, as it went on, I'm like, this is not a bad... Dude, they were talking about it on The Daily Show. They never talk about hockey, and they talked about Gritty on The Daily Show.
So
he was on Fallon last night.
There you go. It has 100% worked.
Marketing-wise, it was genius.
Yeah.
And last night, I watched them dump popcorn on Rangers fans at the preseason game, so that's not bad.
So I say it's a tip of the hat. Good work, Philadelphia.
Yep.
I hated it at first, but I'm with you guys. I'm 100% on board.
I'm on to it.
I think it's fantastic.
I'm into it. Somebody posted a meme that said the evolution of Jake Voracek, and it started with his picture in Columbus and it ended with Gritty. It was great. So
we were in the middle of Internet Apocalypse 2018.
Oh, God. Yeah, yesterday was fun.
It's still going.
Yeah, I know some people. I mean, I've got it at home now, but it's nowhere near what it should be.
We still don't have it? We still
it?
had nothing this morning.
Wow.
Like thematically, we recorded last night for the AU radio podcast.
But you can't post right now.
And it's up because of phones. But it was thematically was like I kept calling out like it was Mad Max World.
Sorry.
What's he doing? Just walking?
Yeah, I just like how he
He's
the metal
he goes
detector.
around the metal detector.
No,
that ain't gonna work. I wanted him to flip that table
He's
really bad.
Who the fuck do you think I am, man?
You know what's funny?
What are you hiding in those hips there, Gritty?
It's Broad Street.
Yep.
So anyway, I kept calling back my whole shtick last night was Mad Max Land. Like the internet's gone down and we traded Travis for water because he wasn't on last night's episode.
That's funny.
And we were gonna. Katie's like, how come you didn't barter me? And I'm like, you got to save your chips for later, man.
For real.
Got to have bargaining tools. But so we were going along, and that was my whole thing was just the fact that there was no internet, and it was like fucking people wigging out. So I get home last night, and this will come back to we were talking about Blu-rays and watching movies and hard copies. I am. For that exact reason, I've been poor most of my life. There have been many times a bill couldn't get paid. I'm used to going a week or two without the internet once in a while. Not anymore so much, but back in the day I was used. So when everything started going to streaming, I was vehement about not letting go of my DVD collection.
Yeah.
For that exact purpose, I was like, you don't know. You never know when the internet's going to go down. Charter sucks.
Oh, yeah.
Which now this cast is going to get throttled, but
for real.
Thank you, net neutrality.
Weren't we supposed to get some kind of like? I thought like Washington State was going to try to do something to get around it.
So they are trying to make it so the states can't do that. The states' rights guys. But we are one of 3 states right now that have net neutrality laws. So but they're trying to get that in front of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
To say that we can't do that. But anyway, not the point. The point being we had hard copies, and we're coming into next Monday is the 1st of October. And I know I have a family tradition that I believe you guys do too of a month of horror movies.
Yep. We're locked and loaded, man.
So you're prepped.
Yep.
What do you got on the docket for day one?
So we're gonna start day one with the 2017 version of It. Yes. My 9-year-old really wants to watch it, and before everybody freaks out, I said to him, "I said, are we sure about this?" Come to find out, the kid's already seen like 60% of the movie on YouTube.
Yeah. They show all the worst bits on YouTube in videos,
Right.
like in music videos.
So he's like, "Yeah, I'm good, Dad." So we're gonna watch It on Monday. So last night, my wife and I got started early. We've actually watched 2 this week already. My wife picked one called Lizzie Borden Took an Axe, which was terrible.
Oh, all right.
It was so bad. Christina Ricci was in it, which I was like, "Oh, this is going to be pretty cool."
I love her.
And I do too. And then all of a sudden, it was like, this story is really, they did it terribly. It was the story. It was the story, the way they did it. So then last night, we had got 31. I'd never seen 31 before.
I want to hear your opinion before I say mine,
Okay.
but so go ahead.
So as I'm watching 31, I feel like I'm watching an old school horror movie that's been brought into the modern age. And that's what I love about Rob Zombie. Because every time I think about Rob Zombie, I think about that old Cribs episode they did with him back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Going through his house. His house is full of 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s horror memorabilia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Including the stuffed polar bear from the Addams Family living room.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, this all makes sense. Here's another thing I did not realize. Sherry Moon Zombie is his wife.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was his daughter. She's 48 years old, and she looks like she's in her 20s.
Yeah.
I looked it up because my wife goes, wife or daughter? I said, I think it's his daughter. And then I looked it up. I'm like, holy shit, she's almost 50 years old.
Yeah, dude. She was the living dead girl. The funny thing is, it's easy to think that because Zombie has looked 100 years old.
Oh, yeah.
For the past 20 years.
I thought he was in his 60s. Come to find, he's only like 53.
Yeah.
You know?
What's funny is anytime you see him without makeup, like you see him like behind the scenes on the movies, if you watch any of the bonus features.
Yep, did last night.
He's a very little guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's super thin. He's vegan.
Okay.
He's super thin. He's super small. And I'm like, I always picture him as this. I've seen him live. I met the guy in human.
He's just got a lot of like stuff on.
He's larger than life.
Yeah, and he's got so much presence.
Yeah.
But he's a very diminutive man and he sits back and he's always very, like he's thoughtful and introspective and he's an interesting guy and I look up to him so much. I'm a huge fan.
I enjoyed the movie very much so.
I think it's his best work.
I never saw the second Halloween that he did. So I saw the I know. I heard it wasn't that good.
Well,
so anyway, I got the double feature of that. The first one I've seen, his remake, which I loved. We got that. I picked up Salem's Lot on Blu-ray.
Yes.
So I can't wait. My wife's never seen it. I can't wait to watch that. I got Friday the 13th 1 through 8 on Blu-ray for $30 total.
That's
for
awesome.
all 8 of those.
That's
in
awesome.
One. Yeah. So we've got it locked and loaded for the month. Man.
So I've got. I'm going to start with. I always like to start and end with the same movie.
The Shining is always Halloween night for us.
So I just bought The Shining for the first time, which I'm a fan. Castle Rock actually led me to really wanting to watch it again. Jackie Torrance's connection to Jack Torrance.
Yep.
But I like to start and end October with Trick or Treat.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of that movie. I think it's a fun romp.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to find a way to go see Hellfest. In the theater. I want to see that.
So I want to see The Nun, honestly.
Oh, I want to see that so bad.
So that's also Conjuring 1 and 2 is also locked and loaded.
So Conjuring 1 and 2 is a box set that I got too.
Cool.
I got the double feature of that. I've been prepping,
Why don't you guys carry movies downstairs?
Okay, so
completely off.
A long time ago we did.
Yeah.
It was extremely hard to keep up with Hastings.
Okay.
And so people would bring stuff in for trade, and we had a very small movie section. And then the conscientious decision was made to be an analog store.
Okay.
We don't sell things that are digital.
Right. Few CDs, right? A few.
Yeah, a few, but predominantly cassettes, records, and then tangible things you can hold in your hand.
Okay. So why don't you start selling VHS tapes then?
Because they don't come through.
I'm playing.
Oh,
Beta.
I did.
Betamax.
I did get a VHS box set
Okay.
of Blu-rays for the first and second season of Stranger Things
Okay.
that comes in a VHS box.
So the VHS box and the DVDs
And then you
are in
slide the
there.
Blu-rays
Gotcha.
out, and I got them both for $5.
Okay, back up for a second. I thought Stranger Things, the third season, was coming out in October because that would make
Next
sense.
year.
Next summer?
Yeah, next
Why
year.
so long?
Because they realized that they needed to focus on the kids are aging.
Sure.
Like you catch them right in that tween age.
Right. Where one day they look like kids, the next day they look like adults.
Yeah. So they have to. They're like some time has passed.
Okay. Makes sense.
So.
So I was just because my wife said, "Oh, I'm excited we get to watch Stranger Things this month," and my 15-year-old daughter's like, "Guys, that doesn't come out till next summer." I'm like, "No way, it's October." And then she pulled it up on her phone. She's like, "Dad, next summer." I'm like,
Also, Millie Bobby Brown.
"Yeah,
Millie Brown.
it's Millie Bobby Brown. She's 12, maybe 13 now."
She spent last summer when they would have been filming Godzilla King of All Monsters.
Okay, it is
Which-
coming. It's just going to take some time.
Have you seen the trailer for that?
No,
Not yet. No.
So I got a shirt for it already. It's like 6 months from coming out, but somebody made a shirt, and I think it was like one of the daily T-shirt sites, but it's got King Ghidorah, Rodan, Mothra, Godzilla, like all of their visages, and then down in the bottom is the very obvious shadow of 11 holding her hand up,
nice.
like stopping them.
Nice.
So I had to have that.
You're awfully quiet over there.
Yeah.
He doesn't watch a whole lot of stuff.
I don't watch a lot of horror movies.
No, just not a fan, or just never really got into it.
I never really got into it. Like there's a few I like. But it's like
Just from the guy who has the Bride of Frankenstein on.
yeah, I was
his
gonna
arm.
say like I like those old ones. Like I
Okay.
like the old like Boris Karloff stuff.
Sure, that stuff's great.
Yeah,
I love that stuff.
So yeah, believe I will watch Frankenstein.
Have you seen Frankenstein's Army?
No.
You have to see
that is-
Frankenstein's
that is-
Army.
Yes,
You have to watch that.
When did that one come out?
5-6 years ago?
Yeah,
Something like that.
It's worth
check it
it.
out.
It's good.
Yeah. I'll
It's
check it out.
really good. And then I just saw the people that were involved with that are making a new one. Or no, it already came out. It was one of the previews on 31 last night. The one where they're on the tour bus. Shit, I don't remember the name of it. Anyway, they because I saw from the producers of Frankenstein's Army, I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch
You're
it.
gonna watch it.
I
yeah.
don't care what it's about. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, so I'll give that one a shot. I'll have to see what's on Netflix too, because
There's a lot.
Yeah,
There's actually a lot
they
this
usually
year.
do a lot for
Yeah.
October. But also, like my plan is, I might stream some kind of spooky games.
Nice.
I like where
last-
this is going.
Like
last
Castlevania?
year-
You going to go Castlevania?
Maybe
You should.
I don't know. I'll have to see what's out there. I got to see what's out there.
Sure.
Last year I did a game called Oxenfree.
Okay.
Like
And-
Ollie Oxenfree?
I guess so.
Okay.
It's an indie game, and it's not super scary. It's a little spooky, but it's kind of a thriller about these kids that are on some island. I think I'm trying to remember. This was a year ago. And there are just some like ghosts and shit that are haunting everybody. Like someone gets possessed, and you're trying to find them, but you don't know that they're possessed, and then you see them like suspended in the air, like their necks all contorted, and weird radio signals are coming in. Like it's
I love that stuff.
Ramps up the tension.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of fun.
you know what's funny is I think horror games in general
This was more of a thriller
have a way of building tension.
because you're the one in control.
Yeah, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
I remember, and this is a decade plus ago, sitting at home one night, and Travis, our comic book buyer downstairs, who's been one of my best friends for years and years and years, he called me at like 3 a.m. and was like, "Hey man, what's up?" And I was like, "Nothing. Like, what are you okay?" And he's like,
No.
"I've been playing Silent Hill, and I'd really like it if you came over." And I was like,
Come hold me.
All right, man, I'll be there in a minute. You know,
Yeah.
he lived just up the road. We lived out in Findlay, and so I hopped in the car and I drove over to his house, and I walked in, and he all the lights in his house were on.
Yep.
And I was like,
I still haven't played that
What's
game.
going on here?
Yeah.
So I got to tell this story real quick, just since we're on the topic and if we haven't broached hockey yet, but I got to share
We'll get
this
there.
story because it kind of encompasses all of that. I used to, a long time ago, I worked as the closing manager for a Burger King. And so the store would close about midnight, and by the time everything was done, it was 1 or 2 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, by the time you got everything closed off, and I hop in the car and I put on a tape, and it was Rob Zombie. Sinister Urge.
Okay.
Okay, which the last song on that album is a song before the movie came out called House of a Thousand Corpses.
Mm-hmm.
And he put in the song, and it's got a bunch of sound bites from the movie, including Sherry Moon Zombie giggling. And she sounds like a little kid. And I'm driving home from Kennewick to Findlay, taking the back roads, 2 in the morning. It's dark as shit, and there's like, and I'm like, fuck that. I'm gonna listen to MXPX. And it was really creeped me out. So I roll into the house, and I get out, and these were all on VHS. Mind you, I walked in the door, and sitting on the back of the couch were 3 movies that my wife at the time had rented, and it was the original Kings of Comedy, Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, and Ghost Ship. No,
Okay.
Ooh, I remember that one.
no, not Ghost Ship. Pardon me, 13 Ghosts
No.
with Shannon
I've
Elizabeth.
seen that one.
Okay,
Yep.
so I'm
Yeah.
A long
like,
time ago. Holy shit.
I'm like, oh,
That was like
Yeah.
2000.
Yeah.
2002.
That's probably when I
is
saw
that
it.
came out.
this is
Yeah.
this is a minute ago.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, sweet! I really wanted to see this. Matthew Lillard's in that movie. I'm super stoked. So I put it
Jeeves?
in. Yeah,
What's his name? The guy that was he played Jeeves in the Men in Black movies.
yeah.
He was Monk.
Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah.
Tony Shalhoub was in it.
So yeah, it's a great movie for that schlocky horror, early 2000 horror. Like
Yeah.
there was a great, Ghost Ship was another one. That's why I transposed them.
Yeah.
13 Ghosts. There's a ton of those movies right that time. So anyway, I grab it and I put it in, and the way our living room was set up, I had a sectional couch, and I was leaning up against a big bay window we had in the living room with my back up against it. And I'm watching 13 Ghosts. It's about 3 in the morning. And it gets to the scene where Shannon Elizabeth's in the bathroom, and this very cut up woman appears in the mirror behind her with this big, huge butcher knife. Mm-hmm. Right as she blinks into existence, a cat jumps on my garbage can
Oh God.
and knocks it into the window that I'm leaning against. So
You still
wham,
haven't cleaned the shit stain off that couch.
and I'm up, dude. I'm up 30 seconds. Every fucking light in the house is on. I woke my wife and my daughter up, and we were going to watch the original Kings of Comedy right fucking now. It's like, I need Bernie Mac and Cedric the Entertainer.
That's awesome.
You need
Stat.
some fresh, like, friendly stuff in your head before you go to sleep.
Exactly, dude. And to this day, that's one of my favorite movies because it's such a dumb jump scare.
Oh, yeah.
But the timing scared the hell out of me.
So, go ahead. Go ahead.
I got a couple more things on. I got a couple cool stories. One's a local one, because now like all this like haunted and October stuff's starting to kind of roll back. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I got some stuff I can talk about. Like, first of all, the other game I was going to play is Dead by Daylight. If you haven't played it,
That's a dope game.
I
that
haven't
one
played it. I'll
I'm
check it
terrible at it, but I love it. It's
Yeah.
so much fun. I'm just awful at playing the killer. Just terrible. Like it's basically like 4 people are survivors. And they got to turn on a bunch of generators or fix a bunch of generators, turn them all on, get
Okay.
the power going, and then you can open a door and leave. But there's a killer, and you got like Jason, Freddy, like you got
So
different
I
famous
play
killers.
I play the Friday the 13th game, which is the same premise.
Okay.
There's 4 camp counselors
oh shit.
running, and it's a 5-person game. It's 4 people that are camp counselors, and 1 person is Jason.
Yeah.
And it's random. You don't know who's who until the game starts. So you drop in, and you're either a counselor in a room, and you've got a flashlight, and you got to go get guns
Let
and
me
stuff.
know what game that is later.
It's
And-
just called Friday the 13th
Okay, cool.
game.
So the other I got
Are you on Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox.
Okay. I could play either way.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
got it for both systems.
Okay, cool. So going back to like some kind of like haunted, creepy shit. Did you know the Toyota Center is haunted?
Yeah. What's Samantha?
I thought it was Emily.
No, I've heard both. Samantha's the
Could
one
be
that,
more than one.
that people in the front office talk about a lot. But yeah,
Hey, no, you guys quit being vague. I also host a paranormal and conspiracy theory podcast.
Did you not
called
know about this,
called
though?
The Underground Files. I did not know that, and I want to talk about it.
Well, late at night, come with me and I'll show you where.
Okay, I'm in, dude. I'm in.
After, well, it wouldn't be after a game because there's people usually
it's on the
cleaning and stuff.
concourse, isn't it?
I've heard people say stuff about like the warehouse area.
Okay.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've gotten some bad vibes rolling through there.
yeah, like
Why don't you just have your people go over there and do a fucking
yeah.
an all-nighter sort of thing at some point?
Set up a table,
Yeah.
do a little podcasting.
You guys want to do that one too?
I'd be involved with it in a heartbeat,
Okay.
man. But
So-
yeah, there's some weird shit that goes. I mean, that building's almost 40 years old now.
Yeah. And then another thing, I was also born in a town that has one of the most haunted places. I can't remember like what list it was on. It was like one of the most haunted places in like the West or something like that.
Did
but
Ghost Adventures come and do a thing there?
I think so.
Then I don't believe it.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Wait,
I'm just playing.
It was
Go on.
so I was born in LeGrand, Oregon.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Hot Lake Hotel.
Yes.
Is
Oh.
way up there. Like
So
I thought you were
and
talking about
now-
Nevada.
no. So I was born in Oregon, but
Right.
I grew up in Nevada.
Right, but I thought because I know that whatchamacallit, the Ghost Adventures guys did something at some old prison.
Oh yeah, well there's a
in
lot
Nevada?
of Nevada's got a lot of ghost towns.
Right.
They have a lot of like
So-
abandoned buildings and shit.
Tell me about LeGrand because that's where my kid's going to school at right now.
Yeah.
And-
So right now they've got it fixed up.
okay,
But the entire like my entire childhood,
yeah,
like it had been like
abandoned
well, it was either abandoned or somebody was trying to fix it up and then they left.
because they got spooked.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I mean, there's always like reports of like the piano playing on its own or like screams being heard down the hallways because it used to be I think it used to be like oh, I can't think of the name of it, but like a lot of people from like World War II that were like really really sick or dying.
Like an infirmary sort
Yeah,
of place?
yeah.
Okay.
I think it used to be an infirmary.
it was for not typhoid,
Malaria?
scarlet fever.
Oh, Scarlet Fever.
Yes, that one I think.
Yeah.
What's the name?
Yes.
So what's the name of the place again?
Hot Lake Hotel.
Okay.
So
So it's
Downtown?
outside. No, it's outside of LeGrand.
Okay.
Probably about 5-10 minute drive.
Headed east, or is it as you come into town?
Oh shit, I can't remember. I'll
So
look
okay.
it up. On
I
social media.
actually so there is a series of books that originally started with a book entitled Weird USA.
Okay.
Then Weird USA branched out to other authors, and they've done, I think, all 50 states.
Okay. Oh yeah,
I have Weird Washington.
my son's
Weird-
got that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's Weird Washington, Weird Oregon, and Weird California, and the Hot Lake Hotel is in Weird Oregon.
Nice. Nice.
I think it's also in one. There was a National Geographic book about the scariest and most haunted places in
be
the
cool.
U.S., and it's in that too.
That'd be cool.
Same with the Winchester Mansion.
Yeah, my kid's at Eastern Oregon University there, so I'll have to go check that out sometime.
Yeah.
I got a funny story for you. Raise your hand if you've seen the movie Jeepers Creepers.
I don't think I have.
Okay, 2/3.
Ju-
Raise your hand
Amazing
if you
Justin
thought the
Longwood.
movie Jeepers Creepers was terrible. Okay, my hand's the only one up. I went and saw Jeepers Creepers in the theater, right? Okay. What was that, 2000? I think that came out. The original one, not one
Yeah.
of the 2 or 3 they've made after that.
Yeah.
But I went and saw Jeepers Creepers, and I laughed the whole time, and I said, this is the dumbest movie ever.
Oh yeah, that.
It was-
I'm not arguing that point. Okay.
So, but here's the funny thing. This is where haha jokes on Aaron. So you know that truck that the dude drives in Jeepers Creepers? That weird old box truck thing?
Yeah.
So where I lived in Virginia Beach was a very rural area. Southern Virginia Beach is like farmland, and it's not what you would think of as a resort town. Well, a couple days after I saw that movie and I thought it was stupid, I look in my rearview mirror and that truck was behind me. Obviously, it wasn't that that one, but that exact same model, same color, right behind me, and I shit my pants.
You know what's
So jokes on Aaron.
that is phenomenal. I actually really enjoy that movie. I think it's a cool concept.
Oh yeah, it's a great concept.
I actually like the execution. The guy who made that movie is a world class piece of shit.
Who is it? Who
I
made
can't
it?
think of his name, but he's terrible.
Okay.
Like, he's horrible.
Okay. Just a bad person.
Yeah, he's a bad
Okay.
person. And so, they didn't have him for the second one. He came back for the third one or the
Okay.
fourth
I
one,
haven't
whichever the
seen
last
those.
one is.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you mentioned the truck behind you,
Oh,
because we were coming up from California one time, and this ratty old semi came up behind me,
Yeah.
and I'm driving the car, and without looking, Snow's kind of half dozing in the front seat. I'm like, candy cane. And she's like,
Joyride. That was a good one. Okay, so we're half an hour in here,
and we haven't talked about hockey
We
at
haven't
all.
talked about hockey at all, man.
We talked
It's
about
turned
We
into.
talked about gritty.
We talked about
We did
Gritty
talk about gritty. That's true, but
And
that led to our nightmare conversation. So
and the haunting of the Toyota Center.
that's true. Which we'll delve more into that one. That's going to be a fun one. Okay, so here we are. WHL season kicked off last weekend, and I want to talk real quick about what I saw on the ice from the Tri-City Americans. I was extremely impressed by that team.
Yep.
Extremely impressed by that team. They now, granted, Spokane. I personally feel like Spokane Chiefs will win the U.S. division this year. That's just where I'm at. Spokane was missing 5 players that night, 5 good players. So, but our team, I say we're we don't. Buried Puck is not affiliated with any teams, but this is our hometown team. They skated. They never stopped skating. They battled for the puck in ways I've never seen them battle for the puck before. It was awesome, and they won 6-1. It was a great night.
I'm so utterly depressed that I missed
that you
it.
weren't. I know. Were you guys still at the convention when the game went going?
When
or?
it started.
Okay.
When
yeah.
it started. And at that point I was like, I'd been there for several hours.
Yeah.
We may or may not have imbibed all kinds of intoxicants. And so I was in no place
Yeah.
although I did bring us up several times.
Okay.
So-
Cool. Great game though. Great game. Uremko
Yeah.
looked like the leader on the ice. Walked away with 4 points that night. Actually got the second star for the whole league that night.
That's
Oh, yeah.
In a night when every team was playing, they looked really good. Now, it's one game. I get that. It's one game. But, a lot of the fans all offseason and coming into the preseason chirping, well, it's not the same team. And, they lost all these players. What they showed was a team, not
Dude,
individuals,
yes.
a
Yes.
team. So it was really fun. And all the new things going on at the Toyota Center this year, other than the fact that the fire-breathing clown knocked out
my
the
God.
sensors on the lights for the
That
second
was
period.
one-
But the new lighting system is phenomenal.
Oh, so good. Like,
the fan Zamboni is
I
phenomenal.
knew it was going to happen too. When the lights went down, and they kicked on the video that you did,
Yeah.
and those lights started kind of
Yeah.
doing the red and blue, kind of like flashing.
Right.
You could hear the entire crowd go, "Ooh!"
Dude, so
Yes.
you know
So
this.
cool.
You know this when you're on the ice, when you're down inside the bowl on the ice. There's a lot of things going up in the stands that you can't hear,
Right.
And vice versa. If you're in the stands, there's so much that goes on the ice that you
Right.
don't hear.
Right.
Did you saw where I was, right? For that opening when they were doing the fire and
Yeah,
all that stuff.
yeah.
So I was literally like 10 feet away from the fire, kind of about halfway between the Zamboni entrance and
That's why your beard looks like that
yeah,
today.
it got a little singed, man. But I was about halfway out, close to the face-off dot, getting some shots and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. But I heard ooh as soon as the lights came on.
It was cool.
And in that video, the shot where Remmer lays out on the guy, that
Yeah.
was the biggest reaction from the crowd
Do
on
you
that fight.
do you have the video up on
so if
Buried
you,
Pucks?
I don't. If you go,
The Americans have been posting it quite a
Yep.
bit.
If you go to the Americans, any of their other than Instagram, if you go to their Twitter or their Facebook page, they did post it up there.
I watched it a couple
Yep.
of times after you had showed it to me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it was fairly close to what you guys saw, but I
Yeah.
added like the target and all that kind
yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah,
so.
which was dope. It was really, really
I thought
cool.
that turned out really well, man. So I was pretty happy with it. But yeah, when Remmer lays the guy out, I heard the crowd.
Yeah.
But they love those lights.
Yeah.
They love those.
I love the lights.
I do
think
too.
it's great. And then it's really cool when they score a goal.
Yeah.
And then everybody was really impressed with that.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's a cool contrast, just the whole building.
I knew the lights were going to be an awesome new feature
Yeah.
this year, but they added so much to the whole experience.
They really did.
It's so weird, because the lights we had before, we couldn't get away with any of that stuff.
No, because you turn them off and it takes 5 minutes for them to warm
yeah,
back
after
up.
the national anthems, and the lights have been off for solid 3 to 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
then they got to warm back up. And every time somebody's like, "Hey, what's up with the lights? Why does it look so dark on our screen here?" And I'm like, "Lights are old and they got to warm up."
You know what, dude? And that's, I mean, you were up in the box last
year. I was doing, I was upstairs doing replay with the referees.
Yeah. And so I was up there a couple of times running camera, and then a couple of times down doing what you're doing this year. And every time, especially on that monitor downstairs, but next to Westy, that monitor would kick on, and it would the lights would go out, and then when they would kick on, there would just be this one screen would flash completely black, and the other one would flash almost a brown color, and then it would
slowly but surely.
Yeah, very, very.
And you're
slowly.
like, oh dear God, and the game would be going, and sometimes you get a score right off the
if it
puck
was
drop.
within the first 1 or 2 minutes of action, it was a dark goal.
Yeah, it would always look
Yep.
really, really bad.
Yep.
So it's good. I'm excited about this year.
Kudos to Venue Works and the city and people for getting that done. And there's more stuff coming over the next season or two. So keep an eye out for that. But really good. Here's some really, and I want to expand a little bit around the U.S. division. Everett started the season 0-2. They lost both nights to Vancouver, who I have picked Vancouver to win the West this year, so that's not surprising. But the fact that Everett started 0-2, they did get a win Sunday. Now, granted, Everett had to play 3 games in 3 nights to start the season.
Yeah.
They played Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Vancouver 2 nights. Portland the 3rd night. They did get a win against Portland the 3rd night, but I thought that was interesting. Here's another one that's a little bit past the U.S. division, but Kelowna has started the season 0-3 for the first time in 7 or 8 years. Kelowna's bad.
For now.
Dating back to playoffs last year, they're on a 7-game losing streak. For a team that's usually really, really strong.
Yeah, historically, they've always been pretty solid.
The other storylines, other than Everett, Portland. I think Portland played 2 games. They were 1-1. The U.S. division is going to be strong this year. It's going to be a battle. I still think Spokane comes out on top. I really do. That team, once they get everybody back and they really start to click, they're going to be really good.
Yeah, it's hard to say this early.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's still a lot of players that are still out.
We've only got one right now.
Yeah.
That's possibly out.
Yeah. I don't know.
Cogs is gone.
Yeah.
I'm still...
Cogs is in the A now. Dan Gattenby, wish you the best. He got waived this week. So we're down. We got 4 20-year-olds right now. Got to get down one more before, I think, October 10th or something like that. But there's still the question mark with Razzie right now.
Yeah.
I don't...
Who got an assist this week?
Oh, he had an assist. He had a goal in
last
the
week,
game before that he played. He didn't play in that 8-6 game against Chicago, but he did play in that 3-2 overtime where Zadina had the overtime winner.
Yep.
You know what's funny is I don't realize how prejudiced I am against Chicago. I mean, I've often been very vocal about my hatred for the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah.
But I don't think about it until a child walks in to the store and I see them wearing a Blackhawks hat. This may have happened last night. As I'm leaving, I'm holding the door for a family. A kid walks by wearing a Blackhawks hat.
You shut the door in his face.
No, I wanted to trip him so bad. My base id, deep down, the lizard side of the brain was like, fucking kill that kid. Obviously, I don't listen to that.
Sure,
and I held the door. I was like, have a nice night. But
Douchebag.
Inside, I'm raging at this kid. I was like, how can you possibly wear that hat? I understand there are Chicago fans out there, and I mean no disrespect to you personally. Your team irritates me to my very soul.
It's the same way that the Penguins are with me, but when I sit back and I look at the bigger picture, it's like the Penguins are a championship breed, man. That team, and the same way with the Blackhawks. I'm with you. I'm not personally a fan, but that team for the longest time was the team to beat.
And I understand that, and I respect that, and I hate them with my sinew.
Yep.
Flesh, sinew.
Well, and as a Detroit fan, how hard is it to watch Scotty Bowman be involved with that team? And his son is the GM of the Blackhawks.
There's been a
isn't he?
lot of like
Yeah.
really strange ties between Chicago and Detroit.
Yeah.
With Chris Chelios even.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. That's right.
Because don't they have like a lot of people like to look at Chris Chelios as either a Blackhawk or a Red Wing.
Right.
It's one or the other.
Yep.
And they say no, his signature career was with Chicago or and with me I'm like nope, Detroit, shut up.
So as
Chicago
a Red
was-
Wings fan, it's hard not to be like,
Yeah.
no, he's a Red Winger.
Well,
Yeah.
well, and
he's got Cheli's chili in both Chicago and Detroit.
but he also played. He got drafted by the Blackhawks, right? So he played his early career with the
Yep.
Blackhawks.
Yeah.
He was there when like Hasek was with the Blackhawks and JR was
But
with the Blackhawks.
Who did he win the Stanley Cup?
That's that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
One of the reasons, and I see
Suck
him
it,
as
Chicago.
Detroit too, because he had such a long career. But that Chicago part of it was not as big as the Detroit part of it.
Big City Slams, boys.
Big City Slams, boys. Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
So-
So I still think he's more of a Red Wing than a Black.
I
And I'm with you on
agree.
that. I'm with
I
you on
can't
that.
think of him in a. It
Well,
makes me cry.
It's like Shanahan. I think of Shanahan as a Devil, or there we go, as a Red Wing. But even though he got started with the Devils, had some success with the Devils,
Yeah.
and they got traded to the Red
Yeah.
Wings.
I always look at Shanahan as a Red Wing too, because like when I really got into hockey, that was about that time period.
Yep.
Like
Late '90s sort of thing.
yeah. So that's when I really started getting into hockey. Like when I was a lot younger, I had like the video games and I played
Sure.
those, and I had like hockey, trading cards and stuff. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
Which
didn't
still
really,
buy
really get
way
into
too
it.
many hockey trading cards. I still collect those things.
That's awesome.
I didn't really get into it until like, when the Red Wings like
Swept the Flyers in '97.
the Russian Five when that started
okay.
coming around.
Okay.
Like that's when I started really getting into it, and
Yeah.
then I was living in Northern Nevada at the time, and everybody like it's weird because like when you live in a place that doesn't have an NHL team anywhere near you, they kind of just some people either go wherever for whatever team they follow, or they go to like the closest that. For us, we did like in Nevada. You're just like, no, fuck California.
Yeah, I don't want
So-
to be a San Jose
So
fan.
it had to be Vancouver or Colorado then, maybe?
It was Colorado.
Okay.
So when Colorado came down from Quebec, then like everybody in Nevada was like, "Yep, we're Colorado fans."
Yeah.
Because Denver's like a fucking forever drive, but still, they were just like, "Yeah, that's what we want." So,
Well, and they were good.
so all my
'cause-
friends were Avs fans, and I was
Yeah.
like the one Red Wings fan.
Yeah.
During
Oh,
that
God.
rivalry.
that rivalry
That
was
was
so
the
good.
rivalry. That
Yes.
was the
That
rivalry.
was the rivalry. Like
in the '90s.
I don't care what anyone says. Like that was
No.
the most intense hockey.
So what made you a Detroit fan? What made you pick the Red Wings?
Honestly, NHL '95.
Okay, excellent.
Because when I was young and like, playing at my buddy's house, that was just the team that, for some reason, I kept picking.
Mine reason
I
is
stuck with
just as stupid.
Oh,
Yeah. So when I got into hockey, which was the year the Americans came, that was my experiment, my first experience in being taken to a hockey game. I'd never ever seen the game before. I was in the 4th grade, and I think I've shared this story. My dad's friends were season ticket holders, and they
For
took
Portland,
me,
right?
Yeah. But then when
Yep.
the Ams came, they were super stoked, and they took me a lot, and I decided I was a hockey fan. I was like, I like this game. I was never a football guy. I was never a baseball guy. I mean, as a kid, I liked sports,
I still hang on to baseball a little bit.
but
Yeah.
I was fans of players. Like when I was a little kid, I really liked Icky Woods
Just because of the name.
because of the Icky Shuffle, and he played with a guy named Boomer. Like,
Yeah.
that sounded rad to me. So
Yeah.
I was like, sure, I like the Cincinnati Bengals. All
Yeah.
right, whatever. I didn't really like football, but I decided that, so I could play on the playground
Sure.
and stuff.
Yeah.
In baseball, I was a Jose Canseco fan because he was the biggest dick I'd ever seen. And like,
Oh, he was so good.
oh man, but I was like that guy. I liked the anti-hero as
Yeah.
a kid, like big time. I was a Han Solo fan, not a Luke Skywalker fan. Over the years, I've become more a fan of heroes,
Sure.
but I still have that punk rock. I wanted the guy who
It was,
Was
always
it-
Han Solo for me, man.
yeah, but so at the end of the day, I really enjoyed those kinds of guys. But when I got into hockey, I needed a team. I was an Americans fan, but I needed an NHL team. And honestly, I'm with no shame hanging on a dummy in the corner of the room on Full House.
yeah.
Dave Coulier
That's right.
had a Red Wings jersey.
That's right. He was a Red Wings guy.
And yeah,
He's really good friends with Shanahan, I think, or either Chelios or Shanahan. I can't remember, but
but that was the day I was like, That's my team.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I just decided to stick with it. And then my little fourth grade brain, like that was my team, and I stuck with it. And I mean, here we are 30 years later.
Yeah. I've stuck with them. Even with Vegas coming in and me going with my home state, like, I mean, I was born in Oregon, but I grew up in Nevada. Like, that is where I learned to play hockey.
Yeah.
That is where I grew up. Like, Nevada's my home. So I go with the home state.
Well,
But I still like, I find myself still like really paying attention to Detroit and hoping that they do well. I've been watching Razzie really close, and I've been hoping that they make the playoffs again soon.
Yeah.
Because that was, I mean, Red Wings were my childhood, and after Zetterberg, was told that he couldn't play anymore, like, I felt like that was like the last bit of my like
tie to it.
Yeah, I mean, even though like I didn't really, he wasn't really around when I first started watching hockey. Like, he was still part of that group, like the guys that were kind of there towards the end, like Lidstrom and oh geez, so many have retired. Datsuk's gone now.
He was a transition player. He
Ozzy.
played with the old guard, and then glued together the new guard. And now he's gone.
See, and I remember
like Bugard.
One of my the memory that sticks with me about the Red Wings the most is the year that I graduated high school. It was 1997.
Ooh,
right, and
the Konstantinov.
Yep.
The Konstantinov Cup.
Yeah, that year sticks with me as well.
Yeah.
That was the first year I really started following the NHL, and I was like, oh, the Flyers are kind of good. And then they got swept by the Red Wings.
That happened.
In the Stanley Cup Finals. Now, granted, the Red Wings were beating everybody at that point.
And I remember sitting
60-win season that year for the Red Wings.
Watching them. It was our graduation party for two of my friends, Amanda Coker and her sister Melissa, were from Michigan. Right.
Oh, so she's a Red Wings fan.
So they're
Red Wings,
right? They were Red Wings fans too. Yeah. She still is. But we were having a party at their grandparents' house, a graduation party, and we were all wearing our Red Wings jerseys. And we're, oh, graduation party. And then it's like, oh, the game's about to start. And the whole family, dude, went in. And I didn't experience a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
Super Bowl Sunday or whatever, but I never gave a shit. So I'd watch commercials and then I'd go eat chips.
Right.
But everybody sitting down to watch. And that was the game that we swept it and got the cup. We were jumping, we were screaming, we were crying. It was the day that made me understand why sports are important.
Yeah.
As a thing for the proletariat, that binds people at the grassroots level.
Yeah.
And it made me truly love that game more than anything. So
yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to step down off my soapbox now. Sorry.
It was a good speech. It was a good speech.
Yeah. No, I mean, I played baseball growing up. I played a little bit of basketball, and I knew it was going to be hockey. Like once I had a friend of mine in junior high, Mark, who convinced me to play hockey with him. And my first game that I played, I instantly fell in love. I was like, okay, this is why haven't I been playing this? And I loved going to practices. I was always there early and I left late. And during the summer we played a lot. The thing that I noticed between, like basketball and hockey was like I hated basketball practice. I hated it. A lot of it was because like the coach's son got like,
preferential treatment.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, and it was the same in baseball too. Like,
oh yeah.
I remember like I loved playing baseball. I wasn't very good at it, but obviously okay, well Kyle sucks. You're going to be like lower on the batting list, and you're
playing right field.
Yep. So and here's why I was like I was mad about baseball, and I decided to stop playing it because I caught like a potential home run one time. Like I had caught it like
up over the fence.
It was over the fence, and I reached out and grabbed it and robbed a guy of a home run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody was like going nuts. My teammate was like, wow, okay, maybe you don't suck that much. You can catch. That's cool, dude.
Sure.
Let's see how you bat. So, and then, but later in the game, the coach's son hit a ball that went off the fence. Like it wasn't a home run, but it was almost a home run.
Like a ground rule double or something?
Yeah. He got like a double off of it.
Yeah.
And they gave him the game ball.
Oh.
The coach gave his son the game ball because he almost hit a home run.
Fuck you,
robbed
coach.
a guy.
Fuck you.
I robbed a guy of
my
like potentially like, 2 runs at minimum, And yeah, so I was like, you know what? Fuck this sport. So I stopped playing baseball, and it ruined it for me. It really did. And now in hockey, the coach's son played, and he wasn't easy on him. Like he treated him like the rest of us. And it like the whole group, the hockey team itself, like I wasn't good like my first year, second year. Like I was not a good forward, and my coach knew it. Like my coach straight up told me, like my first year in hockey, he was like, "You're never gonna play varsity." He's like, "You suck." So
just want to set the expectations.
And here's the thing too. Like during the summer, without realizing it, I skated my ass off a lot because my buddy and I, it was inline hockey. It was just inline hockey because it was Northern Nevada. We don't have a fucking ice rink, but I will get to that in a second. It was inline hockey, so we had inline skates, and we went everywhere.
Yeah,
we went everywhere. And this, where he lived in Elko was like, it was hilly.
It was like the Mighty Ducks.
There was a lot of
all of America.
There was a lot of seriously, like there was a lot of hills, and without realizing it, I was getting better at skating.
Well, dude, if you're skating literally uphill, which is something like I did in Finley a lot.
I can't even walk uphill anymore,
dude. I can't walk upstairs. I'm winded every time I come up here.
When are you getting the escalator put out here?
It's going to be a minute.
Okay.
Although if you guys wait downstairs for me, I will put you on the conveyor belt and run you up if you want.
We're doing that next week.
You promise?
Yeah. I don't want to be on record.
You don't want the insurance company to hear the answer to that.
I don't want to.
My skating got a lot better. My skating got a lot better, and he bumped me up to varsity the next year.
Nice.
And he was like, I'm glad I said that because that pushed you a little bit. So
yeah, that's good.
And that's just kind of I didn't realize it, but that's just kind of how he is. Like he does like the
reverse psychology.
Yeah, the reverse psychology kind of thing for you.
Yeah. You know what's funny is for me, one of the other things that drew me to hockey is my dad was fond of saying that I was born without the competitive gene. I'm not a competitive person. Like, I'm not. You want
to do it for fun.
Whatever I do, I like doing it, but I don't care if I lose.
Yeah.
I don't care if I win, except hockey. And I don't know what the difference is. I really don't. But I can play any game with you, any board game, video game, computer game. We can go outside and play baseball, and I'll try, and I will do my damnedest to play the game. But if you win, congratulations, good work.
Good
like,
effort,
hey, if you lose, hey, good game, that was fun. If we're playing hockey, fuck you to death.
Now, see, like with me for hockey these days, like I'm competitive, and I really, really, really try my hardest to win. And then if we're losing, I get a little upset. Like I try to contain it. Like I don't show it very much,
rage.
But inside me, I'm just like, God damn it! Why are we on a 5-on-3?
Yeah,
like I get mad. I hate being on a 5-on-3. That shit pisses me off so much. And I'm like, literally, it's beer league. You keep talking shit to the ref, and he's gonna keep you in there longer.
Yep.
Like you're dumb. I hate it so much. It's just beer league. Just shut up, get in the box, serve your shit. But no, you want a game misconduct. Anyway.
Yeah.
See, right now I'm getting upset.
You're getting worked.
So this might have been this might have been a recent game. I don't know. But anyway.
Is there something?
But once that final horn is done, I'm just like, all right, cool, good game, everyone. I want to win, and I try to win,
sure.
of course.
But you can leave it on the ice.
Yeah, once the game is over, it's fuck it, whatever. It's
I don't
done.
know.
It's done.
I just find the only time I get as mad as I do about hockey is in traffic.
Well, that's because you got two things going on.
My road rage is the only thing that comes even close to. To be fair. I only bring that up because we haven't talked about traffic yet.
Well, and now we have. Traffic was terrible this morning.
I had to bring it all together.
Kyle was like 25 minutes late because of traffic this morning. And I know how you feel, man. You feel like there's more. Dude, most of the time, we'll time it. We'll know. Okay, so there's no traffic here, there's no traffic there. But some mornings you get on the road and you're like, what the fuck? Did somebody put a GPS tracker on me and they're just like, here comes Piper. Let's go for a drive.
There's a certain window. Like when I finish work after a game, I wait.
Oh, yeah.
For a bit.
Sure.
I'm like, I'm not leaving yet because nobody knows how to drive that fucking circle.
Yep.
Like,
Oh,
Traffic circles,
Jesus.
it's not that hard. There are literally pictures that tell you how to drive through them.
It's the
I love
easiest fucking thing in the world. I love
traffic circles.
I spent
because
2 weeks
don't-
in England in like the late 90s.
Awesome.
And, you know, when nobody here had them at all, but
Yeah.
2 weeks in England, and you learned within like the first 10 minutes how
Yeah.
easy these things are.
Yeah.
And you don't sit there for a fucking month.
You don't have to stop.
Over
You
there at
do not have to
Queensgate
stop.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Queensgate
Oh,
now is great. They got
glorious.
that double roundabout
Yeah.
now, no light, and traffic just moves.
But nobody in this fucking town knows what a yield is. They're like, yield, so stop? Okay.
Yeah, yield is
Oh.
either come to a complete stop or speed up is
Yeah.
what they think yield
Yep,
is.
yep.
Yeah.
They don't.
Oh God, here we
they-
go. We're
they-
like 90 guys. We're like 90 years old.
Oh, weather this week.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Here's a cool story for you tonight. Cody Glass is in town.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Cody Glass
Yes.
got sent back to the Portland
and that was
Winterhawks.
something I was going to say, too, because now, don't get me wrong, love my Ams,
Sure,
and I want the Ams to win,
absolutely.
but I also want to see Cody Glass do well.
Well, here's what you guys were talking about earlier. I grew up in a big sports family. Football, I played baseball for 3 years, and I loved it. Back to your story about the coach had the son playing for the team.
Mm-hmm.
My 3 years of baseball, my coach was on community service, which was great. You guys, that totally went over your heads.
I'm sorry.
My coach was on community service when I played baseball. It was awesome. Anyway.
So wait, you were on the Bad News Bears?
Oh yes, it was great. And it was like straight up. It was serious, man. It was awesome. But
that kid's 28. He's in the 4th grade. Leave him alone.
for real. But going back to what you were talking about, I hate to lose. I hate being a part of the losing team. So I would get very, very competitive with sports and stuff growing up. And it was all about my team. And it was all about the teams I liked. And that's all I cared about. Like I was a St. Louis Cardinals fan. If the St. Louis Cardinals were on TV, I was watching them. If it was nobody else, I didn't care.
Were you a St. Louis Cardinals fan because of Mark McGuire?
No, this was well before Mark McGuire. I was a St. Louis Cardinals fan because my dad was a St. Louis fan. Actually, one year I rooted for Kansas City and he about killed me. But anyway, my point is hockey is the one sport, and this goes to what's happening tonight here in town. Hockey is the one sport. I don't care what team is playing. I don't care what league is playing. I don't care if it's men, women, midget,
just-
whatever. I will watch it.
Just
and
love of
I
the
watch
game.
it for the love of the game.
Yep.
Tonight, I'm with you. I love my Ams. I do, as a fan. But looking at the game, I think the biggest storyline tonight is that Cody Glass is playing his first game back in the WHL after his second year in camp with the Vegas Golden Knights. And I'm going to be watching number 8 for the Portland Winterhawks tonight.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
So I love the story of it. And last year, so how many people were deflated last year when the Ams got knocked out of the playoffs? Like as a true fan of the Ams, they were deflated.
Yeah.
For me, like as soon as it was over, it was like, man, that was a great run, and
Yeah.
I'm so
Oh, yeah.
glad that
I
I
was
got
proud
to
of them.
watch
Absolutely.
that happen.
Yeah, I was totally proud of them.
And I didn't root against Everett. I really didn't when they played Swift. I was glad Swift Current won, and we had that conversation because of the whole tie with Humboldt and that kind of stuff. But I just love the game, man, and the storylines of the game. And there's like the other night, I'm watching the Red Wings play the Bruins, and I'm hearing Carlo comes in and puts the stops on Razzie, and I'm like, dude, that's so awesome, man. I've worked with those guys, you know, and it's like, and that's the cool thing we get to see in this developmental league, man, is this great talent that comes out of it.
Oh, man. And, dude, Carlo is such a beast.
Oh, he's awesome. And Carlo's in his
man.
3rd year in the league.
Yeah.
Razzie hasn't even like made the league yet. But it's just so. Oh, I heard Carlo, Rasmussen, and Cholowski all in like a 30-second span. I'm like, I've watched all those guys play. You know, Cholowski was on Portland last year and all that stuff. But it's so cool. I love it. I love it.
For me, like working for this team right now, it's really cool to start to see like the players that I have watched like every night.
Yeah.
Start to like develop and make their break into the league. You know, like seeing Barzal last year was pretty cool. Like he got Rookie of the Year. Like
and he's now the face of the New York Islanders in essence with Tavares gone.
Yeah.
He's the he's 21 years old and he's the face.
He's
of
got
the
a
New York
lot of
Islanders.
expectations now. So and seeing him
Whether fair
play
or not.
here,
Yeah.
And when I was living in Tacoma, I went to the T-Birds games a lot.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty cool experience. Like,
Absolutely.
Like that, like going to these games and then seeing where these players go afterwards is really cool.
And you know what? It's funny is this, and I mean we're quite a few episodes deep.
Yeah.
This
Episode
conversation,
12. Woot, woot.
this episode, this conversation is the heart of what we're doing.
Absolutely.
I really feel like this is our soul on our sleeves right here.
Absolutely.
Like just talking about the love of the game and especially our love of Northwest hockey. But like, so it brings it back around where we're talking about the Red Wings, being a Red Wing fan. You're rooting for Vegas, for that old school.
I just love all hockey, man.
I love all hockey too. The closer we get to having a local
Oh God, let's talk about that real
NHL
quick.
team.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I'm with you,
goosebumps, dude. Like,
so I've already started planning in my head. Okay, let's think about this. Okay, so we could fly up there. We could grab the light rail. We could be back. It's start
I would
pricing
drive.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
I see people like complaining about it being at the Key. Like they're like, oh, it's gonna be at the
I
Key.
won't.
Fuck the traffic. No, I'm not going. And it's like, well, fine, more tickets for me.
Yeah.
Idiot.
yep.
Like,
Well, no, but
that's
the-
fine. If
but-
you don't like the traffic, then you shouldn't be living in a big city.
But the cool
moron.
thing-
like,
Church.
The cool
Fuck.
thing about Key Arena is you could go from the airport to Key Arena for about $6 on
Yeah.
public transportation.
use
and yeah,
public
Denny Way,
transportation.
Denny Way, that whole area sucks. Like
I don't-
traffic, and they just keep expanding the light rail up there. It just keeps. Oh, here we go.
It's-
Fucking, we're 91 years old now.
Yeah, we keep going back to
Jesus.
traffic.
No,
But that's the thing is that's what all the rest of the world we need to catch up.
Yeah.
With the mentality of using these things to get
It's
around.
not hard
God.
to get around Seattle.
When I was in, and you know this from being in Europe, the rail lines in Europe are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And now they're talking about this high speed rail going from like Tri Cities to Seattle, Spokane to Seattle.
Yep.
This whole thing, you could be in Seattle in like under 2 hours. You
Yeah.
know, and oh man, we got a lot of catching up to do when it comes to
I
that.
am
Yeah.
all about this shit.
Yeah,
Oh, I am
I would
too.
take a weekend and I'd hop on the train and I'd be in like France in like an hour and a half ish.
Yep.
Like it was easy. It was so
Yep.
easy. And then here we just don't do it because it's not utilized that much anymore. Everything's more spread out here than it is in Europe. So
Yeah.
Right.
that's
It's-
part of the
it's
reason.
harder.
That's part of the
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
It's going to cost more money to make
But it's
that
going
kind of transportation.
it's going to take states like Washington with this whole Cascadia Rail. That's awesome, Cascadia Rail project. To do it and set an example for it. California's tried, and you think about Southern California, they've got a pretty good because people think of LA, they think of LA. Well, that whole area from one end to the other on a good day is like an hour-long drive of the whole valley area.
Well,
and they've
dude,
got a good rail system connecting things there.
Well, and then all the little towns between there and San Diego,
Yep.
it's one giant urban sprawl.
Oh yeah, like I flew into a few years ago. My wife and I went down there. We flew into Ontario, California, and then
Yeah.
we were in Pomona at the Glass House there. And I had some friends that were actually in Huntington Beach. And I was like, well, let's meet up. And like, well, you realize that's like a 45-minute drive, right? And that we were there so quick we weren't able to do it. But I didn't think about that, how
Yeah.
sprawled out that whole area is.
Well, that's like, dude, if you've been in LA proper and somebody's like, oh, something, let's go out to Malibu,
That's a drive.
that's 2 hours.
right.
Like,
Yeah. Oh, I know.
It's
and
ridiculous.
People think, well, New York's a bigger city. Well, the thing about New York is New York's very tall.
Yeah.
LA is very wide.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So let's talk NHL to Seattle.
Sorry. I
NHL
choked on that.
NHL to Seattle real quick. Huge thing happened this week. City Council unanimously 8-0
8 to
said,
nothing.
you guys have done everything you need to do. Here's the keys to the kingdom.
Yep.
They handed it over. Now, what's today? The 28th? October 2nd, next Tuesday, which next week when we talk again, we should have more. The Lewicki Group, the Oak Grove or whatever they're called, is presenting to the NHL. On
Mr.
October
Moneybags
2nd.
people.
Yeah. Bruckheimer and all those guys are involved with that are presenting now to the NHL.
Next week we will hear more.
Next week we
So
will,
by-
and
by-
by December I think is when they will do the vote in December.
So we are.
We're there, dude.
We are. And
We're past the political point now where it's all business.
So we are recording on a Friday, which is not atypical for us. We typically record on a Wednesday morning. And so we will be fresh off that news.
Oh, absolutely.
Next Wednesday,
And you-
because
watch
we
our
are
Twitter.
going weekly this as of now, right?
Yes, which Griffin sent me a message from Ireland. He's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you guys are going weekly, and I really want NHL 19."
Awesome.
So with that, we're getting a little bit to our time here. NHL 19 contest. If you're listening to this, October 3rd, which is next Wednesday, all the details will go out about that. If you're on our email list, you will get those details on Monday. So if you're not on the email list, go to buriedpuck.com and sign up for the email list. And then for all the rest of you who are scared of emails in your inbox for some reason, next Wednesday, watch the social media for all the announcements about that.
It's going to be fantastic.
That'll run for about a week. And
I have not gotten my copy yet,
Okay. I picked it up last weekend.
but
I'm going to say mildly disappointed.
Really?
Gameplay, and have you played it yet?
No, I haven't played it yet.
Okay, so gameplay, game controls, awesome. Major step up, even from 18, in my opinion. Except for if you touch anybody with a stick, it's either a trip or whatever.
That's what's putting me off from it right now. Like,
Yeah,
I get it. You're not supposed to like. They're trying to like bring down the poke checking.
Yeah.
And how effective it is, but every time like the stick goes near somebody,
They
like,
embellish.
It's a trip. Yeah,
It's an embellishment.
It's ridiculous. Like no, but that's
You
not
can't
real.
toggle it off.
That's not real.
you can turn it down, I guess, as far as the penalty sensitivity goes. But I like playing on pro, and when you play on pro, it kicks that up. Yeah. Here's the one thing I was mildly disappointed in was the Chell, okay, the outdoor thing.
Yeah.
There's 4 different gameplay modes for Chell. 3 of them are online, and I hate playing online.
I hate it.
Yeah.
There's only one of them, which is the one that I played is kind of cool because it's you go up and like the first challenge is light up Luongo. So you go out to 3-on-3 and Luongo's the goalie of the other team, and you're playing with like random NHL players. But this Chell thing, I wish they would set up a whole offline where you could go from like 12 years old on the pond all the way up to pro career because that's what I thought they were doing.
Yeah.
But you can't. So, but anyway, it's still fun. It's still worth it. And I'm saying this. I'm mildly disappointed. Do you want to win one?
He's not. It's not a new copy. It's his shitty copy. that
It's
he's
mine.
tired
There
of
might
already.
be a few little scratches. There might be some dents in the case where I threw it at the wall. No, but seriously, it is fun. And that contest.
I do plan to get it.
Yeah.
I do.
So
plan to get it.
I am an every other year sports game guy.
Do you have 18?
I don't have 18.
There
I
you go.
have,
So
I
this
have
is your
17.
year.
Time's up.
This is your year.
Yeah. So I have 13, 15, 17.
Up to
I
this point, I've been
skipped-
about once every 4 years.
Yeah,
So
I skipped 14, 15, and 16.
I had 15, and then I had 18, and now I've got 19.
I mean, honestly, I don't care enough about.
I don't play them that much.
I don't. Yeah, I don't get the gameplay
Yeah.
to have every year be a necessity for me.
Sure.
You know, like I mean, half the time, like on 15, I just played the WHL setting.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I would just sit for hours and play, and it infuriatingly slow to play as a WHL team.
And your teams never get better than like 65 or 66 on the
yeah.
scale, no
And you're
matter
like,
how good
"God
you do.
damn, ah!"
Yeah.
And so, but I did a lot of that. But so like, and I get to play it, and it's one of the games I like to play with my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but she's grown, got her own place, got her own job. She don't have time. Like
Sure.
I work and I do 4 podcasts now at this time. Which
And
is
you're a dad?
yeah, which is funny because that's what my son said the other day.
I feel like I'm busy.
Somebody,
with 2.
Yeah, somebody's like, what's your dad do? And he's like, he does podcasts.
And they're like, oh.
Like, and I was like, don't tell people
stigma.
that, son. That makes me think like it really makes it. Oh, dad's jobless. He just sits in the basement and yells at the internet. That's what I.
okay,
Think.
son.
That made me
It's
think
okay.
of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And they're like, "What the fuck is the internet?" And then like Ben Affleck's down there like teaching them what the internet is and like where it's a good place to yell at them.
That's my favorite part of that movie is the end when they
So
get the
good.
money and
yeah.
they just spend it flying around beating the crap out of dudes.
Yep.
Did you say?
That's so awesome. So, yeah, here we are. Another hour-long episode done. I figured since we go to weekly, they'd start to they're not going to get any shorter. It's going to be an hour every
Yeah.
week.
What I've noticed with this other podcast I'm in is we talk beforehand and we're like, let's try to go for half an hour, and then
It
like
never
2 hours
happens.
later,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
like, maybe we should wrap up.
Yeah.
It's the problem with the people blessed with the, as George Clooney put it in Oh Brother Where Art Thou, those of us blessed with the gift of gab.
Yep. Well, we can gab. All 3 of us here can gab with the best of them.
And so let's real quick as we're gonna go ahead and wrap stuff up. Let's go ahead and give our personal pitches and shout outs. Starting with Kyle. How do we get a hold of you? What are you trying to pimp this week?
Okay, yeah. My Twitch channel is twitch.tv/Housenstein. I will shout out this. I made a poster for a couple buddies of mine. They are in a band called Fit for an Autopsy.
Awesome.
They are going head to head in NHL 19 Sunday. I don't even know what day that is.
30th.
30th. Yep.
Yep.
I made a poster for them, like an old timey like fight night
Dope.
poster. I
Dope.
literally I found one online. I removed everything from it, just kept like the faded kind of background.
Yeah.
And then added a picture of a fight where you could see like both guys are winding up for a punch, and then I just stuck their faces on it. So Tim Howley and Joe Bad, they're going to be going head to head. They've been talking so much shit. There's been so much chirping going across. It's so good.
Awesome.
Like they'll call each other during streams and they're like, "Hey, fuck you," and then hang up. And then, like, yeah, it's and they're bandmates. They're bandmates.
That is friendship at its
Oh
core.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So it's going to be at like 8:00 Eastern time, Sunday night, 30th. So
if you're on the West Coast, you have no excuse to not watch it.
yeah, 5:00. So yeah. Go by one of their channels, pick a side, if you will. I personally have Tim slotted to win because I've played against him and he's actually pretty good.
Nice.
Awesome.
So definitely check him out. And then I've got another podcast to do, Hudson's Word. Check that out. If
Yeah,
you like.
check it out.
It's we had Alex Bent last night, drummer from Trivium. So
Nice.
Nice.
that was cool.
Honestly, if you were to listen to Kyle's podcast, to this podcast, and to all the podcasts that Corey's involved with, it would take about 18 hours of your week to get it all done.
So
Oh, dude,
I don't.
yeah.
Here's the funny thing. I have 2 podcasts and I don't listen to any.
No,
Not even
yeah.
my own. Like I was here for this one. I know what was said, and then I look and see how they do. You know, I
Yeah.
promote them. I look and see how they do.
Yep.
And then when I'm done editing the other one, I release it and I'm like, I'm done with that one. I don't have to listen to that again.
That's
So-
how, as I'm
It's
editing
so weird.
this
Like,
one,
and-
I hear it and that's it.
And I do plan to like get into other podcasts. Like I want to listen to yours. Like they sound really really fun.
Thanks.
So
Yeah.
but it's just like it's hard for me to kind of like it's got to be like a long road trip thing for me. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
my commute to school is pretty long. So that's like podcast time for me. So I'll start
Yeah.
like doing that.
So, if you don't mind,
Yeah, go for it, dude.
Where's your
we'll
podcast?
end
the
on
rear.
we'll end on Buried Puck. So I am a shout out real quick. I am a podcast guy, not just professionally, which I'm at top seeded amateur at best.
Socially,
Socially,
three to five a day.
I podcast socially, just with friends. So I listen to a lot. My current favorite is it's called Last Podcast on the Left.
I've heard of it.
It's a horror guys that work in the movie industry. They talk about true crime sometimes, which is actually what put me off of it. I didn't watch it. I didn't listen to it for a long time. But they actually did one on Satanism a couple weeks ago, and the episode was called Hail Satan, and it was funny because they were talking about.
Corey's like, oh.
Yeah, I got to listen to it. Not to put anybody off. It's pertinent to my interests.
Sure.
I like pagan ideals, and so I like to hear about a lot of different stuff.
Wait, you mean you like Christmas and Easter and all that?
Not Easter so much.
Not the Easters?
I don't.
You've had diarrhea since the Easters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since the Easters. Sushis and sashimis.
Sorry.
I'm really bothered by the way you put an S at the end of that.
You do, though. You always have a podcast to talk about. You're into it,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
For
I
real.
do. I like podcasts a lot. I'm a big fan of. There's one called Rebel Force Radio that's Star Wars based. I'm a big fan of that one. But so I personally do this Cascadia Hockey. Obviously, I also am the host of AU Radio, which is our flagship podcast out of the AU Radio network. There is another one on that channel called Comics Corner with George and Travis, which they focus on the comics each week.
Are you on that one every week? or
No, not every week.
Time to time.
Yeah, and then we're doing and my personal baby right now, my favorite thing that I'm doing, besides this, obviously, is the Underground Files, which is also on AU Radio Network. And the
Listened to
Underground
episode
Files.
2 the other day, and I like it.
That one we're trying to keep to a half an hour. We could
It's so
easily-
tough, man.
It really is. It really is, and especially when we start getting deep into it. And we've got kind of like believer, skeptic, jokester kind of vibe going as far as the cast to that one.
Yeah.
And so a topic gets brought up, and it's anything from paranormal to conspiracy theories. And most conspiracy theories, I'm like, that's a crack of shit.
Yeah.
But they're so fun.
But it's fun. It
fun.
is super
Yeah.
fun. We feature a reptilian of the week.
Yep. I heard that.
That's so funny.
And that's all Katie's thing. This really is the love child of Katie. She goes by Katie from the podcast on Twitter and Instagram. She's this is her baby, and I'm really lucky to be a part of it. It's a whole lot of fun, and it's going like gangbusters. Like we're getting more downloads for that than
That's awesome.
It's really really cool.
Yeah.
And then we're working on a serial fiction that will be a survival horror podcast, but it'll be done in a set number somewhere between 10 and 15 episodes total of a group of survivors in a post-apocalyptic situation with a tape trading network where they're finding out information.
I like it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's called Radio Silence. Look for that in the future.
So all I do is run a hockey apparel company.
A really good one, though.
That's the end of the day. That's the end of the episode. No, I'm just, what am I self-loathing here? No, so I mean, you guys, the content that this group here is creating all across the board is incredible. And I love working with you guys, and this is good stuff. Buried Puck, that really is kind of my day job. Hockey apparel, hockey stuff. Oh, by the way, I'm getting banana stickers made. Buried Puck
really?
Threads banana stickers. That was my wife's idea. Shout out. So for every time,
Anya, good work.
once we get them made, every order that you place, you will get yourself a Buried Puck Threads banana sticker, because that's become. I mean, not just the banana stuff that you guys do with AU, but think about it. Carey Price eating a banana, talking. I mean, bananas
This morning.
come up a lot. We were walking in this morning. He's chowing down on a banana.
Yep.
I know you
I
want to be like
didn't even
Carey.
take a bite.
You want to
love
be
it.
like Carey.
Just throwed it.
I've seen you eat before.
That's the reason I look like this.
Diet starts Monday.
Born this way.
It's genetics. Fuck you.
But you guys have heard me talk about the Buried Puck stuff. But I'm excited. Hockey's back, and there's so much coming in. Our Tri-City shirts should be here any day now, which I'm excited with. And then we'll be running a little poll online. We'll let you, the fans, decide which of the 4 remaining U.S. division teams we go with next. So.
I also really want to shout out to the Buried Puck Halloween soundtrack available on Spotify.
So keep an eye out Monday. I'm going to post that. We've put together our collaboration. Even my wife brought up Michael Jackson Thriller, which you had already had on your list, and I'm sure we all had it on our list for Halloween. But it'll be a 20-track playlist on Spotify that I'll post a link for that on Monday.
I need to add one.
We've got 2 open slots right now.
I have to add this one sitting right here. I'm going on record. Red Right Hand by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
Already put it in there.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Yep, that was one of mine. So, and I was surprised that you didn't have Jesus Frankenstein as one of them.
You know what? I literally was like this. It was off the top of my head. I put my phone down.
That was mine.
And then he sent one that was like, you had a lot, which was good. Not that it was
yeah.
any bad, but I'm like, oh man, how do I pick and choose? Like,
Now, if there's any I would like to add, I would like to push the Blitzkid song, Terror in the Haunted House.
okay.
Ooh, yeah.
Was that on your list?
It is on my list.
So let's add it. I'll put it on there. That's fine.
It's this band. I
Fuck
kind
it,
of
we don't have to
saw
stop at 20. We can go however high we want with this thing.
that band. I've always kind of seen as like a modern day Misfits because they've taken a lot of their inspiration from them, and they are like a horror punk band.
Sure.
Which I love that genre.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of music like old time Misfits, kind of like cheesy, campy, like you know, old horror stuff. It's based on old horror movies and whatnot. I ended up, when I was coming back from Iraq, I bought a drum set from them. They posted it. I followed them on socials, and they posted, "Hey, we're selling a drum set," and I bought it. And then I got to know the guys a little bit. Hung out with them a couple times. Really good dudes. They're not a band anymore. They're off doing their own thing. The guy that played bass and did half the vocals, his stage name is Argyle Goolsby.
Okay.
What a great name!
Yeah, it's great. He went off to do. He played bass and did some vocals for Doyle from the Old Misfits. But that was during Doyle's Gorgeous Frankenstein era.
Yeah, which is all solid stuff too.
Yeah.
I like it.
I didn't.
I did.
I didn't like having Stephanie Bellers dancing on stage.
Fair.
That was kind of weird. That was super weird. That was awkward. And now Doyle's with Alyssa from Arch Enemy.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, but now what Argyle Goolsby is doing is he's touring with Michael Graves from the Old Misfits.
Oh, from
the newer Misfits, I guess.
Well,
Yeah. So
Project 1950 era.
no, that wasn't even Graves.
Oh, was it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Graves did. I think it was the American Psycho, and then the
Famous Monsters.
Famous Monsters.
Yeah.
That's when he was around.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd like to put that on the list.
Cool. It's there.
They're
It's
good
done.
dudes. They're good dudes.
It's done. I love it. We could probably, we could make that playlist a couple hundred songs long if we wanted to.
Oh, easy.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll throw that out there Monday. You'll see a lot of posts over the next few weeks about what we're watching, horror movie wise, which we at least know that Corey and I will be involved with that, Mister.
Well,
I don't watch a lot of horror over there.
This is our time of year.
I get into it though.
I'll give you a hard time.
Yeah,
I'll give you a hard time.
This is my birthday, my wife's birthday,
Yeah.
our wedding anniversary, Halloween.
Yeah.
October is my favorite month of the year.
Yep. Second favorite for mine.
Beginning of hockey season, the leaves change colors. My basic white girl comes out, and I get to drink pumpkin spice.
Oh, God.
The spice must flow, motherfucker.
Oh, man. All right, well, we're going to end it on that note.
Oh, way to end on a downer, you
We might never
dick.
be back again.
Thank you for listening to Cascadia Hockey. My name is Corey Gaston. With me, you want to say goodnight, Aaron?
Good night, pumpkin spice.
Hey, Kyle. Thank you as always.
Bye, friends. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Ferda.
Ferda. Good night.